administration. So that was not the lie that the Prime Minister told in Parliament on Thursday.
I'm glad you go back there, Sir Ralston,
Yeah,
because
man.
I want to check the DNA of that child. In 2011, we lost the IMF deal. It's not 2011.
2012.
No, it's 11. They
Yes,
got
hold on,
they
go
got
back.
the deal in 2010. They got the deal in
Yeah, man.
2010 and
But
lost
they
it
formally walked away from the program. Yeah,
in 2011. So
Yeah,
they
man.
got the deal 2010
Mhm.
and they lost it in 2011.
All right, but we could go further back because I want the people to understand how the lie them or the Prime Minister tell.
Talk to me.
In 2000, and let me go back again because him go back to 1962.
Right.
In 1962, Norman Manley, Crab Nethersoul was the finance minister, built out places like the Bank of Jamaica, Planning Institute of Jamaica, which they're abusing now.
Mhm.
And that laid the foundation for the growth of the Jamaican economy that spilled over into the 1960s.
Right.
In the 1960s, when they took over in 1962, the economy was recording growth of 6 and 7 and 8%. But none of it went to the poor people. No housing, no education, everybody illiterate, and all of those things, right? Michael Malley came in 1972. The country was almost on the brink of a revolution. People like Junior Biles and them, man, they sing, I'm going to beat down Babylon. Delmar Wilson sing, Better Must Come, and all of them things.
All of them
Yep.
tune there. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Michael come and say, well, we have to deal with them problem here, the illiteracy and the housing and all of those things.
Right.
Then fight Michael in conjunction with the CIA and all of them people. But even when them say Michael was reckless fiscally, when Michael left, the debt to GDP is where they are trying to get back to now, 60%. You know? You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Which part we are trying to get back in
So
terms
debt
of
to
debt
GDP at 1979 or 80.
Yeah.
Was-
Despite all the fight that
was
Michael gave to the
60%.
social revolution, that helped to create people like Andrew Willis in terms of education and all of them things.
Right.
The debt to GDP was only 60%.
60%.
When Mr. Seaga, the great minds that took over in 1980, when he was leaving office in 1989, the debt to GDP was 262%. And him said, what? Yeah, follow
the
me.
Prime Minister
Him
never
said,
talked about that. Him never mentioned that.
you know all the people them to know that.
Never
Them time he
mentioned
was a
that.
little boy. He
No,
was maybe about 10 years old them
but
time.
him
The
know
time
the
about
history.
1973 or something like that.
But him know the history, Ralston.
Yeah, man, we know, but
So
them
he's
directly
lying
omit
by
that.
omission.
Yep. So, one thing that Mr. Seaga said when he lost the election, that his greatest regret was that he never have what him call a social well-being program, no social revolution. So when him leave all the way at debt to GDP of 262%, the country never have nothing to show for it. Yeah? Seaga's own words. Yeah?
So let's go to the 90s now, because
yeah, man, up comes Omar Davies.
Hold on, before Omar Ralston, because in which year inflation got to 80%?
1991.
1991. That's less than 2 years after the PNP took government.
Yeah, man.
So
that
them
have all of this backup to deal with. And that's why I finished the history. Mm-hmm. So when Seaga was leaving, here Andrew tell about 550. Seaga had this bogus auction. Yeah, where them used to tell people to them not to come at the auction and all of them something. So you have all of this backup. That's why even the man them in the US, Timothy Ashby and them man that say Seaga was like a con man because it was a bogus auction. So when they come and tell about 550, that was just bogus. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when them lose office, the dollar dropped from 550 to $7 and change. And when he was leaving him go over Bank of Jamaica and tell the people them say, oh, they'll have a break loose. So here's the opposition leader who is the government, the Prime Minister who is the finance minister, going to the Bank of Jamaica and telling the staff that all they'll have a break loose. So when man of them come in,
so
the
he knew what was coming.
Yeah, of course, because I him leave it. Right. I him leave the time bomb. Yeah. So when Mike come now, everything break loose and the man up for IDB and IMF say, boy, better just liberalize the foreign exchange market. So the dollar dropped from 7, it was in September them did that. The dollar dropped from 7 to 21, and that is how you got the 80% inflation. Up comes Omar Davies. At that time, we had no reserves. Reserves were minus, when Andrew talk about reserves, reserves were minus 500 million.
Him no mention that.
No, what the
things
people
the
know.
Prime
Hold on,
Ralston, listeners. Things that the Prime Minister leave out of the history lesson that he gave by omission. Talk to me, Ralston.
Right. So up comes Omar now, and
Omar Davies became Minister of Finance what year?
1992.
1992.
Yeah, so him come see all of them problems. Yep. Yep. So Omar come now and hike the interest rates in order to stabilize the situation. And when the country had this liberalization, the banking act was never amended and up to date to deal with the situation. We had no reserves. So Omar couldn't intervene at the foreign exchange market like when you Andrew said, with the intervention by the BOJ, because there was no reserves to intervene.
Nothing to intervene, to assist.
Nothing to intervene.
They left the cupboard bare.
Bare, as usual. All right. Inflation was 8.6% when Omar came in. Poverty was 34%. Unemployment was 25%. By the time Omar left, the reserve 2007 reached now. The reserves were 2.4 billion. So from minus 500 to 2.4 billion. That is an increase of almost $3 billion. You come from minus, not zero, no. Minus. You're underneath water.
Right. You're old.
Yep. All right. Inflation was 5%. Poverty dropped from 34% to 9%. Unemployment dropped from 25% to 9%. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Omar Davies at the first, Mr. Sierra couldn't pass no IMF test. Omar Davies at the first finance minister in Jamaica that passed 12 consecutive IMF tests. 12 straight IMF tests. The team was Omar Davies, Shirley Tyndall, Derek Latibodier. That was the IMF negotiating team at that time.
Mm-hmm.
12 consecutive tests, paid off the IMF in 1995 and went on a staff monitoring program. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
2007 September, PNP lost the election, JLP coming on power. Alsha, Ed Bartlett tell people them that the Great Recession will help Jamaica because more tourists will come at Jamaica. Me asked Ronnie when he go to my parliament, to ask the Prime Minister if they now go to the IMF. The Prime Minister at that time, Bruce Golding, told Ronnie that going to the IMF was neither necessary nor appropriate.
Right. So hold on now, listeners and viewers, I want to get this because this a which part now, Jamaica economic crash. And this now, we are going to take you now to who really own the baby of economic stability. So, 2008 we then now rally.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Them they are spin around. Them time Barack Obama, Gordon Brown, Tim Geithner, Warren Buffett, all them money run up and down over the world. I say, how we're going to deal with this problem? Because this is one of the biggest problems since 1933.
Yes.
And then they are telling people them say, everything all right, nothing all wrong.
So, it was Bruce Golding, Audley Shaw, and Ed Bartlett that tell us that the world recession would not affect Jamaica.
Yeah, man, I'm going to the IMF is neither necessary nor appropriate. Yeah.
Right.
So, fast forward now, reaching in 2009 now, the net international reserves of Omar build-up dropped from 2.4 billion to under a billion.
Under a billion.
Yeah. Economy declined by 5%. 100,000 people lose them job. Then them say, them finally I got the IMF now. Wayne Henry, the same director general plans people that are advisor to Audley Shaw at that time. Dennis Strong to all them money when she opposed that Audley Shaw shouldn't get a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
But I shut up them out now. Yeah. So 2009, fast forward November now, the IMF team start come down. About 10 o'clock the Friday morning, Central Bank Governor Derek Latibodier called me and say, Ralston, them say, if you clean out the desk by 3 o'clock, then fire Central Bank Governor Derek Latibodier, the only man who knew anything about IMF.
When was that? November 2009.
November of 2009. The man called me 10 o'clock and said, Audley Shaw said, if you clean out him desk by 3 o'clock because two bull can't roll in a one pen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I saw them did now till February 2nd, 2010, them get an agreement. Them go and them take the wrong agreement. Them never know which agreement to take. Them take a 27-month standby arrangement. IMF, World Bank, IDB, give them 2.4 billion upfront.
Cash.
Upfront. Give them the money cash and say, we don't need to do this, we don't need to do that, we don't need to do that. Them only do the first test and they never do anything at all that them promised to do after that. Jean Leon, who was the head of the Caribbean Development Bank come to recently, he was the IMF resident representative in Jamaica. And when we used to call him and said, so Gene, what go on with the IMF agreement? Gene used to say, Ralston, these fellas can't give anything sensible to take to the IMF board.
They couldn't cross it. Nothing.
Couldn't cross it, none at all. Yeah?
Mm.
And that's for the country, but we can't get the money, and that is why them lost the election. Up comes...
So, hold on, man, we don't reach this yet. Tell us when they lost the deal in 2011. Because they got this deal in what, February 2010?
2010.
Right.
They never lose it. Them abandon it. As the IMF man, them say them never know until them write them and say them abandon the agreement because them can't test them, can't test and them say, we're not about to go to school again.
Also, 2011, the government decided to abandon the IMF
Abandon,
deal.
just as Julian read out.
At what cost to Jamaica? How did that cost
significant
Jamaica?
costs were locked out of the international capital markets. Real GDP declined by 5%. Yeah? Mm-hmm. 100,000 people lose their job. The country's net international reserves were under $1 billion. The fiscal deficit was 6.75% of GDP. The overall public sector deficit was 10.75% of GDP. The current account deficit was 18% of GDP, one of the highest in the world, and the debt to GDP ratio was 147%, not 135% that they were telling you about.
7%.
Yep.
Debt to GDP.
Right. Yep. The people at the IMF I say, yo, make them boy the feel, because them are going like them are disrespect big man. Them take money up front. Because remember, I said the IMF money are world money, you know.
Yes.
Are people money from the rest of the world.
America money, UK money.
Yeah. Everybody put up them quota. American money, UK money. IMF have over 100 members, so over 100 people money take with. So the man must say, yo, them boy don't let going like them a bad man. So you know, I'll punish them. Yeah? And make them feel.
Tell us about the JDX.
Well, on man, when I reach this yet, man.
Well, and in 2011, they bring in JDX.
Yeah, well, them have to do a JDX. No, part of the agreement was to get the JDX, where they must say, yo, cut the debt ratio, so you cut the amount of money we pay back on government debt and all. That was part of the agreement with them do. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Right. So all them things end up in a failure. Right. So after them do not know I'll get locked out and the economy start run down. Portia come now and Portia have to call Maxine Waters because the man must say, yo, make them boy the feel because them have this man.
IMF not talk to it.
Because you take with the world money.
So country to country, we couldn't get no talk from the IMF.
No, because everybody follow what IMF say. If IMF say nothing lending the money, nobody not lending the money.
Right, so
nobody.
So neither the IMF, IDB, World Bank
would take a call.
They wouldn't take a call from Peter Phillips coming from the office of the Minister of Finance in Jamaica.
Yeah, man. No, man, take which call. And we even start talking about take the call as the man said it was a dialogue of the death. You attack on a man now listen to the man say, the boy not going like son or some bad man and this big man. You see me I said to you? Yeah. So I saw now, Portia now, I have to call Maxine Waters, who a big part of the Black Caucus, and say, yo, Christine Lagarde then became the managing director of the IMF.
Yvette Clark and them people.
Yeah, go take Christine for you.
And let me just remind people that there's a documentary out on this. There's a video out with Yvette Clark and those people telling us about they had to even go check Obama and beg Obama to call Christine Lagarde to even get a talk.
Yeah,
so
man.
These are not Ralston's argument or Ralston's side of the story. There's a video out there upon this, Ryan. Go check it. Continue, Ralston.
But me can't talk because he was part of the negotiating. Them time over the Ministry of Finance I work on thing all Christmas. All enough of them boy we are chatting them out. Them never did them. We were the Ministry of Finance. How you think Epoch farm?
Talk to me.
Because the man must say, all right. So after the man them finally agree now.
Hold on, Ralston. When the GLP lost the election in 2012, what was Jamaica's position? You said the debt to GDP was 147%.
147%. The fiscal
where was
deficit.
the reserve at that time?
Under $1 billion.